speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. And I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak up and share their personal stories.
And welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. We are on week 2 already. Week 2, part 1 of Speaking Your Truth. And again, I'm so glad to have you all on tonight. Give me a minute. I want to post something. And I'm working multiple platforms at one time. So give me 1 minute. As you come in, like and share, announce yourself. Let me know who you are as you come in. But I want to go on and post something very quickly as you all are coming in. Excuse me. Let me make sure my volume is down. But again, welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I am Shanrae. Again, we are on week 2, part 1 of Speaking Your Truth. And this week's subtopic is in details. Speaking your truth in details. Okay, let me go on and share. As you come in, please share as you're coming in. Let me share to my group, and then we're going to move this along. All righty then. So I hope that everyone has had an awesome week. And let me remove this from the studio right here. All right, I'm going to add this in. All right, I am Shanrae, and I am a degree counselor. I did acquire my degrees from Ashford University, and I'm always going to show this to you all to let you all see that I am a degree counselor. I'm educated in counseling. I want to read you just a little bit of my bio, and I'm going to expand this a little bit so you all can see this. I am a degree counselor who've acquired a dual Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology and organizational management from Ashford University. My great passion is bringing healing to people who have been through a traumatic or stressful experience. And so when human beings experience trauma or severe life stressors, it is not uncommon for their lives to unravel. So I help my clients, who include children, adults, and families, to find healthy perceptions of themselves and strengthen their relationships so they can know themselves as peaceful, complete, and whole and safe. All right, so let me all right, so you can see me a little bit better. But and I specialize. I'm a CBT, so I like to do cognitive behavioral therapy, where we do strategies, we do assignments, I give homework, I give different strategies to work through. So and that's what I specialize in as far as my counsel goes. All right, so let's move on to my website disclaimer, because this 30 minutes is going to go very, very quickly. I'm going to magnify this so you can see this a little bit better. All righty then. And so it's right here. Please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, that there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. And let me move this out of your way. Let me move my banner out the way. Here we go. And there's so much going on till I gotta remember the different things that I'm doing. Is that there? No, that's the wrong one. Counsel of the Day. Here we go. There we go. So you can see me just a little bit better. All right. So please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that I'm using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to the changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only, and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by myself, other counselors, or counseling services are subject to the limitations of current and available material. But the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual or the client. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information does change frequently, and it is recommended that you, the individual or client, will consult another physician, another specialist, and or religious leader to aid you in your overall behavioral wellness. All right, let me move this along. I'm going to keep it magnified for a little bit. I'm a Christian counselor. And so the scripture that I've chosen to stick with for the month is John 8:32, the English Standard Version, and it says, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Okay, and again, let me minimize this. But this week, I'm going to be speaking about speaking your truth with details. All righty then, let's go to our definitions. I don't readily assume that you know definitions or that anyone knows or even know the definition that I'm going to choose to use during my sessions. Okay, but let's open this up a little bit. All right, so the definitions for this week is truth. Truth, the one that I chose to use, it says that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. Perspective is a view or a prospect. All right. And tonight's key points are: number one, how to speak your truth with love. Number two is a Talmudic passage. Number three is 4 questions to your truth telling. And I'm going to magnify this for 1 minute. Righty then. And truth telling about finding your thoughts or your first thoughts. I'm sorry. All right. So let's move this along because this 30 minutes is going to come and go very, very, very quickly. Definitions of speaking your truth. So, definitions of speaking, it says when Oprah Winfrey and others say speak your truth, they typically mean something more like sharing your perspective, telling your truth. Tell your story, open up about your experiences. And the important part of speaking a personal truth that some people miss, Oprah Winfrey says that it is realizing that it also means listening to other people's personal truths or their experiences. So we're going to move on. How to speak your truth with love. All right, how to speak your truth with love. Tough situations are not likely to change until we speak our truths. Now, this teaching that I'm teaching on this session is this teaching comes from Jennifer Goldman Weisler, and who is a PhD. And so she's talking about tough situations that may not change readily until we start to speak our truth. And a lot of times, as I stated last week, when we speak our truth, when we speak our perspective or our experiences, a lot of times it empowers other people to become brave and they want to speak up as well. Let me see. This is an open forum. Good evening, CJ. How are you? And everyone is fine over here. Thank you, CJ. This is an open forum, so if you have any questions or any life experiences that you want to share, please feel free. I will pause and I will address your comments, and it will move on. Okay, so speaking your truth with love. Challenge can be hard, especially when we worry about what we say and that it may hurt other people's feelings. If we don't share the truth, the tough situations that we find ourselves in is unlikely to change. And if we don't speak with love, our message may get lost in defensiveness. So a few things that we should consider to guide our truth telling includes asking ourselves, why haven't we shared the truth yet? And if you have shared it, asking yourself why you have said it unkindly. Because a lot of times when people are hurt or they're trying to defend themselves, they may come across as unkind or rude or anything like that. It doesn't mean that they're not speaking the truth. It just means that that's their defense mechanism and they're speaking up for themselves or for what they went through. And it may come across again as rude or unkind. All right. So a traumatic passage, and let me spell that for you. Talmudic, Talmudic, or maybe I'm saying it wrong, Talmudic passage tells the story of a stranger who approached the sage Hillel. And this is, I guess, a reverend or someone over in India, and said, "Can you teach me the entire Torah while standing on one foot?" Now, you know, you and I, if somebody approached us and said, "Can you teach me a little bit about the Bible standing on one foot?" First of all, we're going to look at them like they're crazy. And then second of all, we're going to walk off and say, "You know what? I'm not nobody's clown or boodle or anything or do boy." But this is what a person asked a reverend, a sage Hillel. And they asked him, "Would you teach me the entire Torah while standing on one foot?" So the Hillel famously replied, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor." And the rest is commentary. Go and study it. So we as Christians, or me as a Christian counselor, we know it as the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Good evening, Luana. And so this saying goes straight across the board. It doesn't matter what culture you come from or what part of the world you may live in. This Talmudic passage, or the golden rule, or whatever you want to call it, it's just the same straight across the board anywhere in the world. You go do, it says, whatever that which is hateful to you, what you think is hateful to you, don't do it to anybody else. And the rest is just commentary. All right. So if Hillel or a Indian reverend were an organizational psychologist with a specialty in conflict resolution, and a stranger asked the Hillel to teach them the entire field while standing on one foot, the person said, "I suspect that the Hillel would say, here, tell the truth." From an organizational psychologist standpoint, tell the truth with love. And the rest, again, is commentary. Go and finish studying the rest of this. So the key thing here is tell the truth, and then we're going to add with love. All right, so telling the truth can be hard under the best of circumstances. Thank you, Luana. Telling the truth can be hard under the best of circumstances. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, and we don't want to feel like a bad person, right? And we don't want to ruin a good working relationship or a good relationship period that you may have with somebody. We do worry that there is simply no way to say what we have to say kindly. And again, this is an open forum. If you want to give scenarios or life situations, I will pause and I will address them. But when it comes to telling truth to somebody that we care about, it's not easy to do. It isn't. So let me go. So we worry that there's simply no way to say what we have to say kindly, but there always is. Telling the truth can seem even harder when we're working remotely. And so we're going to talk about working remotely right here, or working from home. So in person, it would be easier to create the right conditions for a heart-to-heart conversation. Like, it's easy to say, "Let me take you to lunch." And then you can sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation. But when you're working remotely now during this pandemic, sometimes it's a little difficult to sit down and have a heart-to-heart, or for some people, it's a little easier. CJ said, being honest does not always mean that there will be tension. Sometimes the other person is grateful for the truth and wants to hear it. And by speaking honestly today, you will gain more intimacy in your relationship with others. Lawana says, "True friends remain friends when the truth is truth." I wholeheartedly agree. Even if they feel a little bit salty, like me and my sister friends, they already know, they like, "You're not gonna like what I have to say, girl, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. No, that's wrong, and you need to do things differently." And they're like, "We already know you're gonna have an attitude," which I probably will, because we human. We already know you're gonna have a little too, but we also know you're gonna get over it. and I appreciate, you're right, I appreciate my sister friends for loving me enough to tell me the truth when they feel like that I can do things better or I can do things differently. You know, and I do the same thing with them. Look, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. This is it, and that's it. And then when we finish, come on, let's go eat. That's me, you know. So you're right, y'all. Luana said yes, indeed. Um, so you're right. With some people, it may be hard to tell someone that you care about the truth. But with us, thank goodness we have a level of intimacy and closeness where we can tell our besties and our God-given family something that is beneficial that will help them, and then we know that it won't jeopardize our relationship with our friends, you know. However, despite the constraints of working remotely, and this is talking about maybe from a career standpoint, let me see, working from home. However, despite the constraints of working remotely, the advice still stands the same. So when we don't tell the truth, people usually aren't able to read our minds to figure out on their own. And when we don't speak with love, we do risk our messaging getting lost in a sea of defensiveness. So the tough situations that we find ourselves in are not likely to change until we gather the courage to tell the truth with love. Okay, but the question raised here says, but what exactly does this mean? All right, so I'm going to move this along. Let's move this along. All right, and that's the Talmudic passage out because that's okay. So what exactly does this mean? It said it means finding a way to say directly and with empathy what is true for you. Now I'm going to pause and ask a question. How many of you on here that are watching now? How many of you have found yourself in a position sometime in your life where you had to tell a friend of yours or a loved one of yours something actually detrimental? That if you did not say it to them, if you didn't share it with them, it would be almost like a life, jeopardy type of situation. And I'm putting this out here because I want to know what you did. What did you do in this situation? Did you forge on and did you tell the person what they needed to know, or did you just let it ride and then whatever happened, happened? So that's the question that I'm posing to you all viewers right now. And I'm going to move on while I wait for an answer. All right. 4 questions to guide your truth telling. I'm going to open this up a little bit and then I'm going to close it back, reduce it a little bit. So it says, 1, what do I really want to say? Number 2 says, I haven't said it, and why not? All right. So it goes back to the question that I just posed, that I just asked you all who are watching and viewers. Have you ever found yourself? Luana says, I told them what they needed to know. Luana, how did that work out? You said, I told them what they needed to know. Okay. Let me ask you, Luana, when you told them this, is this something that they already knew, or was this new? Was this news to them? Was this new? Is this something that they already knew and they was ignoring, or is this something that you actually brought to their attention and it was like a light bulb moment, and then and then how did they respond? So I'm gonna wait. Oh, Luana said it was new. Ooh, wow. How was the reaction when you told them this? And I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go on and then I'm gonna pause and read her response. She said it was new news. Okay, new news. It's really enlightening when you're doing new news. Luana said I brought it to their attention. How were their response once you did that? Were they defensive? Were they hurt but grateful? Did they reject you? I just wanted to know a little bit about when you did what you were supposed to do as a true friend. Okay. So it says, in order to do this successfully, you can ask yourself the following 4 questions. And she said she bought it. All right, I'm waiting for the answer, Luana. She said she was understanding. Okay. All right, that's good. That says a lot about your relationship. It also says a lot about the person when they were understanding. Did it affect Lawana? Did it affect your relationship with the person? Did your relationship grow stronger, or did they kind of wean away from you with doing so? And I'm asking these questions because this is real life. This is real life. When it comes to this, she was understanding. All right. So while she's typing, I'm gonna go to the first one. The first one says, "What do I really want to say? But either I've stopped myself from saying it, or I haven't said it in a way the other person can really hear it." Lawana said it stronger. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. That says a lot about your relationship. I'm assuming that you said it in love, through love, and they were able to understand it. And then, like you said, and then I'm so glad that the person did not shy away from you. And did the person take your advice, or did they heed what you said? And are they better off now? Are they better, Lawana? This question is for Lawana. So, did the person actually act on your advice? Are they better off now? And then I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for your response. Number two says, "If I haven't said it, why not?" And I'm gonna reference this to Lawana. Lawana said it. She said it, and she said it helped the situation by her saying it. Um, but here the question number two says, "If I haven't said it, why not?" For example, I don't want to hurt. People always come up with, "She said yes." Oh, that's good. Oh, so that is so encouraging when you are telling someone something that they need to know, the truth, and they actually understand, they appreciate you, and then they take your advice, and now they're better off for it. That's a plus. When I say that's a W, that's a win. That's a win-win situation. And that's what we are hoping for with most things. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way right at that time. Sometimes it may take a little time for the person to understand your intentions, and then it may happen a little bit later on, and they'll come back and say, you were absolutely right, and I want to thank you, although I didn't accept whatever at that time, but I still want to thank you for caring enough about me to say something. So this is a plus. I'm so glad to hear this, Lawana. Some of the excuses that people use is that I don't want to hurt someone, I don't upset or disappoint somebody else. I've tried to tell them this before, and they did not listen. I wish my own opinions, needs, or desires were different than they really are. So these are some of the things that people say to stop them from telling the truth to other people. Let me move on to 3 and 4, questions 3 and 4. I'm going to magnify this. Number 3 says, "If I've said it unkindly, why?" And number 4 says, "How can I convey what I really want to say in a way that genuinely communicates my care, respect, love, and love for the other person?" All right, so I'm going to minimize this. All right, so let's delve into the third question. If I said it unkindly, why? Now, I want to say, from a counselor's perspective, again, a lot of people, when they speak something, a care or concern unkindly, they're speaking out of frustration. They're speaking out of just being just tired and frustrated, and they're not trying to. Most people are not trying to make you feel bad when they want to share something with you that they feel will help you. But if they speak it unkindly, a lot of times they speak it out of frustration or just being tired. Here, let me tell you what the doctor says. Says, for instance, "I felt frustrated again, and I haven't reacted the way that I'd like. I feel angry, or I feel hurt." That's another reason why some people will say some things. I was watching the other night, Girls Trip, and towards the end of it, like, to the highlight of the movie, because there was tension between Queen Latifah and Regina, what's her name, throughout the whole thing. And at the end, and a lot of us that watch Girls Trip, we know what happened with Regina and her husband, and his mess. And so when the truth came out, Queen Latifah was trying to tell her friend the truth, and history. She said, listen, she said, if I would have told you this a long time ago, would you have believed me? You would have believed your husband. And she said it differently. We know how she said it. But she said, you would have believed your husband over me. And so I just chose not to say anything. And it just had to play its role. It had to play itself out. But I like how in the end, Queen Latifah still told her friend, her childhood friend, what she needed to hear. There was anger and frustration involved, but towards the end, they came back together. And Regina thanked her for being a real friend and for caring enough about her to tell her the truth about a situation that was beneath her. And she knew that she could do better. As a matter of fact, all of the girlfriends knew that she could do better. But she said, if I told you sooner, she said basically, I think she did tell us some things sooner, but she just shook it off and was like, her man comes first or whatever. So this is what this is talking about here. Sometimes people feel hurt or angry when they speak the truth. And they say, I've been distracted or in a rush. Those are reasons why people just blurt stuff out sometimes in a bad way, but not intentionally. These are the reasons. Now, number 4 says, how can I convey what I really want to say in a way that genuinely communicates my care, my respect, and my love for that other person? And the answer here says that you can use your answers to these 4 questions to give structure or form to your truth telling. And so again, it says, what do I really want to say? If I haven't said it, why not? If I said it unkindly, why? And number 4, how can I convey what I really want to say? That genuinely communicates my care, respect, love, and concern for that person or those people. So, hi, Tay Tay. Hey, Tay Tay, how are you? Shantae. So again, this month, I'm going to be speaking and highlighting on speaking your truth. And again, the subtopic for tonight is in detail. Again, we have to remember, and let me move this along, because we're coming down to our takeaway. I'm going to open this up so you can see this a little bit clearer. My final thoughts for tonight says that when we don't tell the truth, people usually are not able to read our minds or figure things out on their own. Again, and we have to remember that people aren't mind readers. We can't just assume that they know what we're thinking or what we're going to say. So we have to communicate properly. We have to convey our thoughts in details in order for people to understand what we're saying. So when we don't tell the truth, people usually are not able to read our minds or figure things out on their own. And when we don't speak with love, we risk our message getting lost in a sea of defensiveness. Again, and we don't want to do that either. We want to, whatever we do, we want to say it with care, love, respect, and concern, not out of frustration, not out of anger, not out of hurt. We want to speak our truth that way. And we want to speak our perspective in love. Let me see. Lawana said that you have to pray and ask God to give you the words. You are absolutely. I'm so glad that you said that, again, because I am a Christian counselor. So those that understand that are Christians, that's one thing that we do. We ask God to word our mouth, give us what to say and how to say it, so we don't come across as negative. We don't want to come across as judgmental, but we want to come across as loving and caring. And so you are absolutely right, Lawana. I totally agree. Even if it does come out a little bit stern, because people talk in different ways, but I speak very sternly, but I speak out of love. I really do. And that's come from my foundation. So I'm going to speak, when I speak, it's going to be stern, but it's also coming from a place of love, not from hate, not from judgment or anything like that. But you are absolutely right, Luana. I'm so glad that you wrote this down here. Yes, those that are Christians, I strongly believe in asking God to word our mouths. Word your mouth, and and give you what to say and how to say it and when to say it, because there is an appropriate place and time to say things. I have a friend of mine, one of my sister friends. And I like the way she'll sit down and talk with one of our sister friends, because it's a few of us. And so she has to say something to one of our sister friends, and if she's on tonight, she knows who she is. She'll sit her down or sit her down and give her a drink, a glass of wine or something, and say, "Now drink this." And then when she finished, she said, "Drink it up, because you're going to need it." And when she finished drinking it, she said, "Now I got to tell you this." And when she finished telling her, the other sister friend might be in tears crying, but she's like, "Thank you so much, because I didn't realize that this is how so and so happened. And I didn't mean for it to come across that way." And so it's stern. One of the sister friends, she does it sternly. And she does it in love. She'll tell her, "Here, drink this glass of wine." Oh, what? And then she'll let her have it with love and stern. So it just depends on your character and your personality. Um, there are people that they're stern when they speak, but that doesn't mean that they're hateful. It doesn't mean that they're judgmental. We have to look at the heart and where it's coming from. So let me open this up. These for my fellow counselors, or if you anyone who wants to know where I got my teachings from, and the theory. This is my website references. Okay, and then I want to thank each and every one of you all for participating in Counsel of the Day with Shanrae this evening. Thank you so much. We are going to resume Thursday evening at 9 p.m. on part 2 with this. We're speaking your truth in details. Let me move this along, because it's 30 minutes. We got a little bit over. All right. So I want to say, hold on. Okay, here we go. I didn't change. Look, I didn't change my channel. I didn't switch over. Okay. But if there's a past Counsel of the Day with Shanrae series that you've missed, or you just want to rewatch, you can go to my YouTube channel at Shanrae Price. Please subscribe and select any past series to watch. Like, subscribe, and watch them. I'm also, let me move this along. I'm also a professional one-on-one counselor. So if you're interested in professional one-on-one counseling services, feel free to contact me via Facebook Messenger at Shanrae Price, or at my email at shanrae@gmail.com. I am a lifestyle strategist, and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. So this has been Counsel of the Day with Shanrae, part 1. This is week 2, part 1. Let me see if there's okay. Of speaking your truth in details. I will see you all on Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard sharp for part 2. And thank you again for your participation. Again, I am a lifestyle strategist, and my goal and my aim is to aid you in your life's goals and your life's dreams. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I'll see you Thursday night. Good night.